Shut up, I'm not crying, you're crying. Computer, play my intro. I don't even know where to start. What's up, my know-it-alls? It is that time again. It's Thursday, and that means that it's time to talk about Picard, Season 3. Episode 9, Vox. And it's one of those things that I didn't know this was everything I wanted. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope if you're not as mushy about all of this as I am, I apologize because I'm about to blubber all over this thing. Yeah, man, this is one of the greatest episodes of television for me ever. And of course, I mean, I don't even know if I need to bury the lead on what probably my rating is going to be. But let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to encourage you to watch the previously on. Normally I don't. But for some reason, I was in between getting ready and kind of getting some things in place before I start to record these. As the openings are going, I stopped and I watched it, and I didn't get a chance to skip it. And it was, I don't know, it got me, man. It really did the job that I think it's supposed to do, which is twofold these days. One, remind you what you saw last week. But at the same time, I feel like it's also designed to help propel you forward and let you remember key things that are intricate to what the story you're going to see is. So, I tell you what. Watch it. It was fun. So we jump right back in immediately to where we left off, which was Troy, and she was helping Jack, and specifically talking him through the potential of opening the red door. And when they go to the end, she opens the red door. Immediately, something flashes. We hear some very familiar sounds. And I know some people, my good people over on Buffer Time, who we're going to have a fun time talking about this one coming up. So, and I am making myself available to make sure that I'm on the show, because I really, really want to discuss this stuff with you guys. But yeah, man, I'm not going to bury the lead. It's the Borg. Dude, so okay. So, golly, my ADHD is ridiculous. She hears something, she immediately flashes out, and she rushes off, and Jack's like, what's going on, this and that. It's the clip that they put out last week. And so, when she gets back, she begins to explain to him, there's elements that were in Picard after he was assimilated that were dormant. These are dormant Borg whatevers. And they wouldn't, and according to Geordi, they weren't able to detect them 35 years ago, and that's why we didn't know that they were there. But it's the reason he was always able to hear the Borg still is because of these dormant, latent things that are now in Jack. But they're in Jack on a whole different level. So, wow. There's so much in this episode, by the way. It is a really packed episode in terms of story, but somehow still feels like everything was palatable, everything was serviced well. And so that particular hurdle, I'm super proud of you guys for pulling off, because I'm telling you, that's not easy to do. And this episode, again, chef's kiss. So then Jack and Picard talk, and it's one of those things where there are protocols in place, especially where the unknown, something like the Borg, something all that is and whatnot, it happens to exist. And so when Jack tries to leave, there's two guards who are there because Picard asked them to be there, because essentially he's got to be under arrest. We have to figure out what's going on with him. Have to. There's too much at stake. And that's when Jack does a little red eye gimmick, and they turn, and he takes control of these security guys. And that's, to me, the moment I knew just how dangerous this whole thing could be. On its face, you'll see why. And so, then what does Jack do? He steals the shuttle and takes off. And so Data goes to comfort Picard, and it's a moment, and you're just like, it's such a great moment that I never knew that I was going to love completely and utterly. So it's just, Anyway, yeah, I'm fanboying as hard as I could possibly fanboy about this episode. So, unapologetically so at that. So then there's this moment where this is when Geordi calls him down and says, "There's something else you need to know about Jack." And when they bring him down, that's when he explains all that stuff about the Borg and what it did to him, and ultimately those pieces, the full depth and gravity of it. Which is, and the next part of this is, apparently the Borg and the changelings were working together, and it just blows my mind because I thought we put a button on the Borg storyline. So, see, I can't tell if this is a retcon or if it's just, if we're just moving forward with whatever, because I'm like, where's the Jurati Borg people? Like, where versus this Borg people? So somewhere there's still this Alice Krieger Borg, because by the way, that's Jack. When Jack leaves, that's where he goes. He goes to a specific place and he encounters this ginormous Borg thing. It's like a Borg Mountain. I think it's supposed to be a cube, but at the end of the day, it looks like a giant Borg Mountain in the middle of a nebula of some kind. And it's Alice Krieger, from the movies, from First Contact, Star Trek First Contact. Okay, that Borg Queen voice. They don't show her face, but Jack encounters this Borg Queen person, and it's pretty intense. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I really like her acting style because it's just the way that she kind of eats the words. And you can tell she's chewing on that. She's chewing the scenery for sure all day. So it's love that actress and love her performance from First Contact, which was brilliant. And so I'm definitely in it to hear more. But then you get Frontier Day. We get to experience parts of Frontier Day, which is utterly amazing. And we finally find out who the captain of the Enterprise F is. That's right, it's Admiral Shelby. From The Best of Both Worlds and all, it's, again, a wonderful symmetry that Terry Matalas is doing, juggling here, giving us so many, it's like we're walking through a field of member berries, and none of it feels contrived. Or at the very least, it's like the best kind of fan service, and that's the only way I can equate it, because I'm telling you right now, I'm loving everything I'm seeing and would not, but I don't, and it's funny, I'm kind of unapologetically like, I don't care if it's the corniest thing ever. It's amazing and wonderful, and I'm loving it. So, and I know that you guys are too. Comment below. Let me know, gush, please, by all means, about Frontier Day. And I do think it's pretty epic. And oh my god, I love it so hard that they actually call her out, Shelby. I mean, on the fact that Picard's like, does she not see the irony in presenting or a system that is so clearly Borg-like? Like, because essentially it is. They've completely put into formation the entire fleet, which, by the way, is massive. You find out very fast. Somehow, the changelings got on all of the Federation ships, which, by the way, there's a finite number of ships. This is totally plausible and doable. And they have been infiltrating the transporter system. What they've been doing is putting in the transporter system Picard's pre-Borg DNA. Or not the post-Borg DNA. Because remember, the synthetic Picard doesn't have any of that anymore. So the guy we know now, who has the mind of Picard, does not have any of that stuff in him. So that's why they needed his body from Daystrom. Okay, so that's what, and so they've added this. Everyone of a certain age, immediately you begin to see the little green lines. They all begin to get Borgified, and it's the collective. It's now, only the geriatrics are left to save us, and I'm like, let's go. Okay. So I was just so blown away by how they did it, and it's so insidious, and it's wonderful. We're at the height of storytelling. Good storytelling does this. They've built the stakes so high, and now we move into the next part, which I'm so excited for. Again, guys, and I'd like to take a moment to remember a fallen officer. We'd like to have a moment for Captain Shaw. No, but seriously, Shaw, why? But it was beautiful. I thought his redemptive arc at the end was wonderful. Hearing him finally acknowledge that it's not his ship, it's hers, and he calls her 7 of 9. And it was good. I liked it. It was a good ending. I felt it was an honorable ending, and it gets us, in my opinion, to you still get Star Trek Legacy, you still get the same writing and the same stuff, and now you get to have a little bit of honor and memory with having to go with it as well. But at the end of the day, they've totally paved the road make 7 a captain. Make her captain of the Titan. Let's do it. I would love that. That would be amazing. What I would have liked to have Shaw a little longer? Absolutely. I believe his character is a wonderful paragon of the kinds of characters that Star Trek can afford. And by that I mean, not everybody's black and white like they used to be. So I'm really excited about this whole thing. When they run away, when they need a ship, they need something because they need something that's not in the fleet. Because the fleet's now in this formational system. And Geordi tells them, well, let's go back to the Fleet Museum. I am such a mess right now because of this. You have no idea. I didn't know it was going to hit me this hard. No clue. Because I'm not normally like this. At least I can. Well, that's not true. If you look at my last Picard seasons, I guess when I was talking about Q and whatnot, I got emotional. Anyway, we go to Hangar 12, and it's the USS Enterprise D. Apparently, there was some Prime Directive stuff that said they couldn't leave the saucer section in Viridian because the Viridian was an undeveloped system. And so if someone were to eventually arrive there, like travel through space, they would eventually find whatever Prime Directive nonsense and shenanigans. And so what do? They recover the saucer section, and Geordi for 25 years has been restoring it. And it's when they get on, one, the flyover is amazing, and then they walk onto the bridge, and all the systems turn on, and it's our systems, it's our stuff, and the bridge is lit. And it's great. And then Picard makes a joke that is awesome. He says, the one thing he missed the most, carpet. I was like, oh, dude, it's over. I was a mess. And then they realize they're gonna get underway, and everybody's like stations, and they all go, and the moment. And everything from him laying in a course to Geordi saying, "Aye, Captain," and just the whole thing. It's just, again, all the things, and it's just amazing. When you offset that with this terrifying moment of the Borg having taken over Starfleet are now the Borg. Okay, did you juxtapose it with this heartwarming, like wonderfully nostalgic, wonderful moment? I think that or I don't know. I think I'm willing to call this nostalgia porn. I think, but at the same time, I don't know if that's. Who am I to fight the things? I don't know. Anyways, it was beautiful and wonderful, and I was super excited for it. And then the computer voice, it being Majel Barrett, the first mother of Star Trek. I just, bro, you're doing the Lord's work, man. If anyone deserves a Star Trek Legacy show, # Star Trek Legacy. We all need that. Under this man's tutelage, give us this entire era, because I feel like you understand it. And I feel like you could carry that torch for us. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for me. There you go. Now you know. And if knowing is half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So, what is the know-it-all index for me for this episode? Come on, man. Really? And I have a feeling they're gonna really slam dunk this for me, but I'm going to 10. I'm going to 10 on the back of the heights of emotion that I felt, and just I believe this is an excellent story. It is an excellent story being told by excellent storytellers who are people who know this fandom. They are us. They are us. So I hopefully you enjoyed the show. I know I did. Let's talk about it in the comment section. I'll soon have some announcements about some fun things. We're starting a Patreon. We're doing some other things, putting together some stuff so you guys can have ways of supporting the show, and really appreciate giving me the ability to do this. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you again next week for the final episode of the season. I don't know how you top the penultimate, but they're going to try. I know it. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.